Another story coming out of Ontario is making me wonder more and more about when that meteor is finally going to strike. People are taking it upon themselves to start policing what other people wear, and they're trying to get them in trouble at work for it now. The workplace in question is a court, and they actually listened to the complaint that was filed a little over a year ago about a judge wearing something that someone just didn't like. The worst thing is that they had to. According to the Ontario Court's website, they have to respond to complaints, review them, and send them off to another panel for review. Sounds like a lot of wasted tax dollars in a system that weirdos and people that's full-time job is faux outrage can abuse. I guess you can consider that judges are held to a higher standard than the average citizen, but listen to how this story unfolds. Now, the complaint has gone through the process, and what's new is that there was no disciplinary action taken. But you'd think that this was a pretty crazy t-shirt in order for them to even entertain it. I've seen some stuff that would make me look twice out there, usually harmless, maybe a little bit gross, and if I don't like it, I just look away and forget about it like many of you would too. But this particular t-shirt wasn't even offensive. It just wasn't the right kind of t-shirt for one little tattletale. Lorne Warwick and his wife spotted Ontario Superior Court Judge Tony Scarica wearing a Make America Great Again t-shirt at the local grocery store and decided to tell on him by writing a complaint suggesting the t-shirt made it impossible for him to be impartial, which is a breach of the rules. The most bizarre thing? Did I mention that Scarica was also a progressive conservative MPP in Ontario? So I'm pretty sure his employer and colleagues knew what his political stance was when they hired him. Given that background, do you think Lorne Warwick would have complained if this was a Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders t-shirt? Probably not, because he thinks that Trump's kind of conservatism is fascism. He says so right on his Facebook page. Here, check this post out. It says, "The cancerous conservatism metastasizing under Trump has nothing to do with traditional conservatism and everything to do with fascism." Look at Warwick's current profile picture on Facebook. It says, "Official member of Harper's enemies list." So it looks like he's one of those look under your bed for scary conservatives types. Cancerous, fascism enemy, all words that Warwick uses to describe a variety of conservatives. Did he think he needed to teach one of his fascist enemies a lesson? Probably. So he wasted taxpayer money and the time of the Ontario court that didn't take action, but the key here is that they listened to Warwick over a t-shirt that he didn't like and Scarica was wearing on his own personal time. Even though freedom of expression and speech is written into the charter, and this guy probably should have just been written off as a garden variety kook. Sure, Scarica is held to higher standards than the general public, but there is that part about him being a previous conservative MPP. They already knew his stripe, and it was never a problem until a weasel with too much time on his hands interjected. Look at this article in the Law Times from 2012. New judge known for political links, colorful comments. It outlines that Scarica was still donating to the PCs when he was appointed, and he basically affirms that he has nothing to hide. Scarica is no stranger to controversy. Get this, in a story that sounds more like a James Bond movie than real life, there was an alleged failed assassination attempt on his life after 8 people pled guilty on human trafficking offenses in a high-profile case in which he was the lead Crown attorney. And of course, there's been generic complaints over comments he's made about refugees. I'd be surprised if this was a Liberal receiving these complaints that we were talking about, but we're talking about a former PC MPP here. So what happens when you're walking down the street wearing your Make America Great Again cap or t-shirt or a Trump shirt, or maybe even a funny Justin Trudeau shirt, just like I'm wearing right now, and one of your colleagues tells on you? You can see on my t-shirt, Justin just has the dumbest look on his face, and it says dope on the bottom. All in good fun, right? I know my own boss would never fire me over my t-shirt. In fact, he'd probably get a laugh out of it. But what happens when the next workplace actually does take action? Sensitivity training, a write-up, job loss, a ruined reputation, a lawsuit that financially destroys a person and causes unnecessary stress. If you think about it that way, it becomes a pretty slippery slope that a busybody with nothing better to do can send you down just because they can. Judge Skarica backed off and said that the t-shirt wasn't an indication of support for the American president, probably because he knew the headache it would cause if he didn't. It's not illegal to wear a t-shirt, but drama queen, I wake up in the morning to find things to get offended by types sure can escalate the problems in your life when people are willing to listen to them. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to our Rebel Canada YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of the great content that you're just not going to find anywhere else.